Well, good morning, everybody. A very warm welcome to you all. My name is Matt Rose. I work in the pre-sales department here at Hikvision, and today's webinar is going to be on LED displays. So let's jump right into it. Let's have a look through it, what we're going to cover today. So first of all, we'll be going into the background of LED, following on with running through display technology and how it all works. We'll then run through some of the solution overviews along with some highlights. We can show you where we are within market positioning and also how our manufacturing process works. And then finally, we have our LED selection tool, which is an online tool which will be giving you a demonstration on how that works at the end. So let's start with the LED background. So on the screen here, we can see that we got 4 different types of monitors. A lot of us will be familiar with the smaller one there on the left, our standard monitor, just a smaller size. You get the wider border on it, etc. And then we move on up through DLP, then up to LCD displays, which will always have a bezel across them, as we can see on the screen here. And then right at the top, we have our LED display, which is completely borderless. So let's have a look at some of the differences between LED and LCD. Well, as we said on the previous slide, LED displays are bezel-less, so we don't see that bezel in between the panels. We can also get a higher brightness on an LED display as well, and we also get much better image quality as well for those really vivid and clear images. So where have we seen LED displays out in the field? You've probably seen as many as I have, because they're quite popular, and they're all over the place really. And these range from airports, retail sites, highways, football stadiums, and also command and control centers as well. One note worth noting is these can actually be used both indoors and outdoors. So why should we use LED? Well, LED lets us splice or join together up to any size. So the size of the display is almost limitless really, and we can see that there on the first slide with it being shown in a concert hall. They're also bezel-less as well, so we get that full image across all of the panels, which makes for a much better viewing experience. And they also provide great color performance as well, with a wide range of colors for a really nice image. So let's have a look at the technology and how that works. So the fundamentals of LED technology, we start off with a collection of light emitting diodes, or LEDs for short. And we can combine all these together with different red, green and blue to produce the colors that we need. And these LEDs go together to the LED lamp. The LED lamps are joined together to form a panel. The panel will then go onto the cabinet, and then the cabinet gets joined together to create that video wall. So here we can see on this slide, we have the lamp board at the front, which is all of those lamp boards combined together to produce that continuous image. We have a connector board on the back, where the lamp board actually fixes to the lamp board connector with magnets as well for a secure connection. Power supply is mounted in there behind, and then all of this connects to the back of the cabinet frame, which is die-cast aluminium. So the most common unit that we talk about with LED displays is the pixel pitch. And this is the distance between the LEDs on the 2 LED modules. So we can see here we've got a vertical line here and a vertical line on the right hand LED module. And the pixel pitch is the distance between those 2 points there. And on the panels that we manufacture, the pixel pitch ranges from 0.9 all the way up to P1.6 or P16, excuse me. We've got two different types as well. We have a fine pitch model and we have a standard pitch model. So our fine pitch models range from 0.9 up to 2.5, highlighted here in red. And then our standard pitches go from P3 up to P16. As we can see, we've got the ideal and the nearest and best viewing distance for each of these pixel pitches as well, which makes it a lot better for us calculating the right panel to go in the right room. So the LED package, all produced together, we use surface mount technology as well. So with SMD, the surface mount devices can also get very, very high reliability. And it's also great for improving production efficiency as well. These versions are also available in what's called GWF, which is gold wire, and CWF, which is copper wire. The gold wire provides for much better than the copper wire, but similarly is a bit of a cost difference there between the gold and the copper. You also have the DIP, which is outdoor LEDs, and these are very, very good for water resistance as well, which is ideal for an outdoor environment. So the main part of the LED display is the drive IC, or the drive integrated circuit. This is the processor, if you will, for the LED display, and this controls everything that the LED display does. All LED displays have a much higher refresh rate than a standard monitor. The refresh rate for these is 3,840 Hertz. So another thing worth discussing with LED technology is the grey level. So all of our LED products support 16 bits of grey level, which equates to 65,536 different levels of grey, or 281.4 trillion different colours, which is quite a few. So let's have a look through the solution overview and highlights, starting off with the naming rule that we have. So the naming rule for our LED display products is like this here. Main points on this really are the number 12 that we can see here, which we would change for different pixel pitches, ranging from 0.9 for the P0.9 all the way up to A6 for the P16 version. We also have I or O, which would dictate whether it's an indoor or an outdoor unit. And then the M, C, and G part over here as well is for the gold and the copper. So here we have the product family. We have our indoor displays down here on the left-hand side, ranging from the 0.9 all the way up to the top. We can see that they're indoor versions because they have the I down the center. And in the next panel here, we have our outdoor units, and we can tell these are outdoor units because they have an O for outdoor. Next up, we have our rental units that we have that we offer. And last but no means least, we have our two LED controllers, which are available in 8 and 16 versions. So we have two models that support a 4-in-1 LED lamp. And the two models that support the 4-in-1 LED lamp are the DS-D4215FI-MWF and the DS-D4209FI-MWF. Main benefits for the 4-in-1 LED lamp is that they help to reduce power consumption between 40 and 50%. And as a knock-on effect of that, we will see a reduction in screen temperature by 20% as well. And all of these features add up for a longer working life of the product and extended lamp product life as well. So this is our indoor LED display panel. It's a 16:9 ratio to help with the self-adapting function. The refresh rate, as we said previously, is 3,840 Hz. And the rear panel is made of die-cast aluminium as well, which ensures it is to a very, very high standard. These particular models range in pixel pitch from 0.9 up to 3.7. And also they have a really wide field of view at 160 degrees. So on the screen here, we've got the model numbers for our outdoor units. These are IP65 rated. They also have the same refresh rate, 3,840 Hz. They're a lot brighter than the indoor versions because they're to be viewed outside. And they've also got that same wide angle view as well, 140 degrees as well. So here we have the LED controller. And the function of the LED controller is to control the video signal input and to convert it and to send it out to be displayed onto the LED screen. And we can feed different types of inputs into our LED controller, whether that be DVI, HDMI, or DisplayPort. And then the output is connected up via RJ45 connections. Each one of those ports, 0.65 million pixels as well. So we can have a look at that LED controller in a little bit more depth here. You can see the front panel here as well. So it supports a remote control, so we can adjust and edit the display without having to go into the panel as well. It also supports self-splicing, image enhancing, high capacity. A great feature with this is the dehumidification function, which really prolongs the lifespan of the product as well. So let's have a look at the topology here. So we've got two different types here on the screen. You can see we've got an LED screen with a single LED controller, and then down the bottom we've got one that's got multiple LED controllers. So if we're feeding in a single video input, we would feed that in directly into a single LED controller. So whether that be a media player, TV box, PC signal, whichever. Single video signal in, and we can put that through the LED controller for a single video out. For control room applications, where we'll be displaying multiple images to come through, we need to feed those images in via a video wall controller. And then the output from the video wall controller goes into the multiple LED controllers for displaying those multiple images up on the LED display. So let's have a look at some examples of how they're fitted. So in this particular solution here is for a conference room. So we have a single display panel with an LED controller, and we're just feeding a single PC input into this one. And because of the size of the room, we'd be looking at a fine pitch model here. In this example, we have command center or a control room. So we're feeding into this multiple inputs in this occasion from IP cameras via our MVR, and these will then be fed into a decoder. The output from the decoder is into the video wall controller, and then the output from that, along with any other additional inputs, are then fed out to the LED display via the controllers for displaying those images on that video wall. Here's an example of a retail solution. It's quite similar to the conference room, really, but we've got some additions down here. So it's being controlled by a LED controller out to the display. But in between, we have our digital signage box, which we can use to manage the display, or we can use it to manage what's being shown on that display. We can also manage that remotely, either that be from a web interface or from High Central Professional. This is an outdoor display solution that we have here, whereas on this occasion we're feeding in multiple inputs. So we've got 2 inputs coming into this one, so therefore it goes into the video wall controller, and then the output from that onto the LED controllers over onto the display panel. So let's have a look at some of the great features that we have with LED display. So we support PixMaster technology, which enhances the details, makes it clearly identifiable as well. We have great color performance, high brightness and high contrast. We also have no shadow as well, due to that high refresh rate that we've got on the displays. We support multi-color temperature as well, and changing these is very, very simple and straightforward with the remote control. Got a quick chart here which shows us the resolution of our displays and the sizes, etc. So we can use the information on this screen here to help us in calculating what we require. So our screens are self-adaptive. What does that mean? Well, what that means is that you won't see the black edges or the black bars across the screen. So as we can see this video playing here, we've got the image perfectly spliced onto the screen. Let's just start that again for you. There we go. So changing inputs is very, very easy and straightforward as well. With the remote control, we can easily switch over between any inputs that we have, as shown in the quick video here. No need for going around the back and unplugging HDMI cables or DisplayPort cables, etc. All done with the remote control. Also, we can adjust the brightness with the remote as well. So we support automatic dehumidification on these devices as well, because the moisture in the LED will effectively form corrosion, and it can lead to damage of the LED board. Well, this dehumidification process stops that really, and it helps reduce failures on the LED components by about 30%. Also helps with shielding blue radiation as well for our eyes, and it's very good for reducing visual fatigue as well. Here's an example of the blue light filtering with the remote. So currently, the only model that comes with dual power supplies is the 0.9 model. All the other models come with a single power supply. You can fit an additional power supply to those other models, but you would just need to request that PSU when you place your order. So we remove the front panels using a suction tool. It's a lot better for the LED panels using the suction tool, because we reduce the risk of damage to those panels. We place the suction tool on the front, pull the trigger, and it creates a suction, and then that enables us to remove the LED panel here. So let's have a quick look at it. Simple as that. Let's try it again, just in case you missed it. The key point with this as well is that all the maintenance takes place from the front. So there's no need to go around the back, pull the unit out, take the unit down. Everything can be serviced and maintained from the front of the unit with it installed in place. Support a non-cable design as well. So all the connecting cables run through the back, all integrated as well, which vastly improves the appearance. So we support really good heat dissipation in the outdoor units. As we can see on the diagram here, we feed the cold air in through the bottom, where it gets heated up inevitably by the heat that's generated from the display. But we have a fan in the unit at the top, and then also an exhaust vent as well, which ensures that there's good airflow through the unit and maintains a good operating temperature. So in this chart, we can see, we can realize the functions that we need to know in order to quote an LED video wall. There's lots of things that we need to know. Primarily, is it going to be mounted indoors or outdoors, wall mounted or floor standing? A key point is the actual size of the room. Once we know the size of the room and how much space there is available to mount the LED display, we can then calculate from that the best and nearest viewing distance, which will also help us select the correct pixel pitch. So we have a bracket drawing here. Which is created for when we do the indoor solutions. For the outdoor solutions, we would recommend that the customer would design these. So showing here, we can see where we would route the power cables for our display, and also the signal wires as well. Excuse me, which connect back to our LED controller. So display showcase time. We have some examples installed in the field. And just quick to show that we have these installed all over the world, really. So we've got some more applications here, that being a really large screen over on the left-hand side. And we've got an exhibition hall in the center, and a control room over on the right-hand side. As we can see here, the size is almost limitless. So market positioning and manufacturing. So 90% of the fine pitch LED displays are currently coming out of China. So when we look at the LED market in China especially, Hikvision is the top 3 within the indoor fine pitch range, as we can see from the diagram here. And if we look at the trend as well between 2018 up to 2020, we can see the trend and the way that the market is going, and it's clearly going in an upward trend there. So the manufacturing process. We have a full SMT production line, which is fully automated. Over on the right-hand side here, we've got our testing process. You can see all the different colors from the LED panels as they're tested before they're sent out. So looking at the competition analysis here, Hikvision's LED displays are in the Tier 1 brand at the top. So we've got an LED selection tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly jump out of this screen share and I'm going to show you it direct from my computer screen. So let me just stop this share here and I'll share the other one. There we go. Right, what I will do as well is I'll copy the link. I'll put the link in. We can change our different options that we have here. So we've got 2,200 for our expected height. We can change all these options to suit. I can adjust the number of columns or rows to suit as well. And then I've also got this fit to wall option on the bottom, which would fit it into the correct size. Over on this side, we can look at the bracket configuration. So there's an example of our all-in-one bracket. If I just change that to wall mount and then hit preview, we get a similar thing as well, but for wall mount. Once we're finished, we can hit the export button and OK. It takes a couple of seconds. So here's one that I prepared earlier. Once this is outputted, this is the sort of output that you would get from the LED tool. So we've got all of our items down through here, we've got all of our model numbers underneath, the specification, how much power the unit draws as well, which is something to be really mindful of because they do draw a bit. This one here is currently drawing just over 1,000 watts. You have a drawing at the bottom. Product spec, dimensions, how to do the power load. It's really, really quite comprehensive. Let's just zoom out so you can see that a bit better. So we'll have a look at this from the beginning. So this is the output that we get from as it's outputted from the LED tool. So we get a drawing for the display, specification, complete cabinet dimensions, the power load, the network load. Really is quite comprehensive. We get a topology as well. And then some case studies at the back. Wonderful.